I'll call to order the October 7th bid board meeting. We have enough for a roll call acknowledgement of quorum. If we could just do the approval of minutes from the previous meeting, which was September 2nd. If we could have a motion to approve in a second.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Moving on. John, if you could go over the financial report with us.
Sure. So on the financial report, you have the two sheets. They're on page 5 and 6 of the PDF. Nothing unusual. We're kind of right on track where we are for various things throughout the year. So you can kind of see where we were with the budget as well as what's been spent. We have some areas that are, we have an expense, but you're going to see a lot of those come up here when we get towards November. We have a lot of expenses with regard to Christmas tree lighting and stuff like that. So I don't think we have any, worries at this point about the budget. We'll probably have a little bit left over in a few of the counts from that perspective, and I'll touch a little bit about the facade grants coming up later in the agenda.
Okay,
Any questions?
motion to approve the financial report.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, moving on to the tree lighting ceremony.
Yeah, well, so the first one's the discussion and approval of purchasing of holiday ornaments. So at our budget discussion, we talked about purchasing new ornaments. I actually went over to the sewer utility where the tree and the ornaments are stored, along with Ashley last week. We actually have a number of them that are broken. They're stored in big 5-gallon plastic bags. So they go up 3 flights of stairs for storage. They come down 3 flights of stairs. They get put in a truck. Then they're taken over to Old Settlers. So they get a lot of handling to go both up and down. They are They're supposed to be unbreakable. They're plastic, but as they get older, I think what happens is they become more fragile. So we also have a lot that are faded. So a lot of the red ones have become orange. I actually called one of the manufacturers or one of the sales staff, and they said they actually recommend that they're replaced every 3 years. That's sort of their life expectancy. We're on 6. So it kind of makes sense why we're losing them through damage as well as why they're fading so much. So I guess my question to you all is, we have some money in marketing. I can order ornaments this week. We can have them. They'll be shipped probably, it's about a 1-week shipping. So I guess my question is, rather than waiting to next year, would you like me to, I did ask, do the ornaments go on sale? They say they don't go on sale. So like the Christmas wreaths, snowflakes, the things that hang on light poles, they usually go on sale in January. But Christmas, they're just priced at a point where they don't really go on sale. The one company did say I could get they could give me a 5% off type thing if it was a big enough order, that kind of thing. I guess my question to you all is that something that do we want to kind of add a little extra this year and then through the next year's budget, add a little extra too? I'm afraid the tree might look a little less. I don't think we want to put any that are totally orange looking. And then with the ones broken, it might look a little bit sparse, and I don't want anybody to be disappointed. So I just thought I'd put it out there.
Hey, John.
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm wondering if you had a recommended investment, and then should we consider buying some sort of bin or tub so we can have those ornaments in a place that doesn't get damaged through transport?
Yeah, you were reading my mind. So that's the other component, is asking just permission that staff's able to purchase some bins. So there's 4-inch balls, there's 6-inch balls, there's also 10-inch balls, there's some that are probably 12 or more. So for those 4 and 6-inch bulbs, I can get a nice durable bin that has a lid. It's going to keep the dust out, that can be carried downstairs. The 10-inch ornaments as well as the bigger ones you probably only get 2 in a bin. So Ashley and I are trying to figure out a different solution for the really large ones, just so I don't want to buy a bin for $8 and only 2 ornaments can go in it. We're trying to figure that solution out. So that's the other half of the conversation. So the first half is, A, would you like us to purchase some new ornaments for this year? And 2, are you okay if we spending some money to actually try to get some bins that might make the ornaments last a little longer, at least not have as much damage. I think I'm just think of these going into a pickup truck or something like that, or a public works truck, and then it's bouncing down the road into town. I mean, even just the impact, you could start to get cracks and things. So want to know what your thoughts might be.
How many did you say that need to be replaced, like, right now?
We did not count them, so they are in bags. I would say if you drew a line between Ashley and Brett, and from Ashley to Jane, that whole area of a floor is full of 5-gallon ornaments. I mean, we're talking, some of the, I don't, because the tree's so large, the 10-inch ornament is this big. It's a big pile of ornaments.
Yeah.
So we didn't go through. I mean, we started looking. There's one bag that's at least 50% smashed. I think they kind of, when they took them down, they probably put all the broken ones there. But then we started looking around, and there was other random ones. They really probably need to be sorted. Ashley and I probably just need to go over there and sort them out and be like, acceptable, not acceptable, acceptable, not acceptable. And then we would just basically try to get to a number and be like, okay, we need X number and that kind of thing.
Were all the decorations purchased separately from the tree itself? Or was that part of the contract with the
So that's something
David
we're
Frank?
trying to figure out. So the wreaths, some of the ornaments I've actually been able to determine which company we purchased it from. The Christmas tree and the ornaments were purchased through David J. Frank, and we don't have a vendor. We don't know where it was purchased from, and I don't think, have you been able to, they haven't gotten back to us because we were hoping they would tell us who the vendor is. So I started calling different vendors, trying to figure out if the tree that we have matches, and I haven't been able to find the company that matches it. The ornaments, I can find across multiple companies, so they're not, the ornaments are a bit standardized. Some companies will have slightly different ones, but they all have the same colors, the same balls. I think they all probably get from the same manufacturer, and the different companies sell them.
Okay, so by ordering new ones, they're not going to look like completely different that it would?
No, I can,
Okay.
literally, the one company I was talking to where we bought the wreaths from, literally I go on their website and I can actually, I'm like, yep, we have that one, we have that one, we have this one.
Okay.
Most of the ones I think we have red, gold, and silver are colors, but that's another thing for you to think about for next year's purchase. But they have blues, you can do greens, you can do silvers. So we basically had 5 years of red and gold. I'm going to toss it out to you guys to say, maybe you might want to think about next year. Maybe you want 5 years of a different color, so it's not 10 years of the same color or something. You could introduce some other color or something. So, but for the replacement, I think most of the things we probably would replace is the red because they've turned orange. The golds have held up pretty well. So I think if I were to purchase anything, it'd be more in the reds. And red goes with all the other colors, so I don't think it would be a issue if you decided next year to do something different. But
Yeah.
so basically, I'm just looking for if you guys are okay with purchasing some extra ornaments in the next few weeks for this year, and then having us figure out how many bins we can get to at least get most of them and I think it'll be easier for transport if there's handles instead of schlucking a big 50-gallon bag around.
Yeah.
So
I'm good with that. Anybody else on the?
Yeah, I'm definitely supportive.
Yeah.
And it'd be nice to label them and have some sort of organizational system for storage too.
Yep. The other item related to holiday ornaments, if you recall, and I do not think they were up last year. I don't know. I think it's been at least 2 years. Back in 1920, the bid spent money buying garland that went around the lamppost, and they were illuminated with a bow. What I've heard from staff is that a number of them weren't lighting up, and so at some point those stopped being put up. I guess my question is the bid interested in having those put up on 5th and 6th Street? I can look into see if I don't have, it's not part of the Blingle contract, so I basically would be looking at my colleagues at City Hall, or maybe I could get some business owners or Larry or other people, to maybe have a day where we could, work on putting them up from that perspective. But they're all just literally sitting in boxes. And I think they probably, from the time I can see when they were purchased to we haven't had them up for a few years, I think they were only up for a couple years. So I don't know their condition. The stacks of boxes are, oh, and here comes Doug. Hey, Doug.
Mike's not. Not yet.
No.
There you go.
You're on.
Just to remind you, those garlands that went around, you authorized the Barton District to use those for Christmas
Oh, we did.
a few years ago, yeah.
So they're
Put them
using,
around the bridge rails.
oh, so they are being used then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they've been used since you haven't used them downtown.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
So just, sorry for clarification, since I'm, still coming up to speed. So the bid bought them and then we are using them outside of the bid? Is that
They were
what I just
purchased.
heard?
They were purchased in I think 19. Ashley, was the bill somewhere around 20,000? My understanding was that they had lighting built into them, big red bows. There were some issues one year that some of them weren't illuminating. And then from what I was able to find out, except I probably should have called Doug, because Doug has a little bit more information, I was told that they just didn't get put up again. So, but I guess that must have been the point where they got transferred over to the downtown Barton area.
Yeah, you went to the sprays that hung on the poles then,
Yep.
and then they weren't being utilized, so the Barton District, requested usage of those, and
Okay. So that's probably in some minutes from a couple years ago.
yeah, oh, they've been using it for a few years already.
Yeah. Okay. Well, never mind. I won't ask that question.
Do we have to authorize a dollar amount for you to have permission to spend?
For the ornaments and the,
Yes.
I didn't calculate anything because we were going to go sort through it. So I guess if you want to give me a dollar amount, or if you just want to say it's in staff's judgment, I'm not going to, like I said, I think we're just going to go over there and sort it. What I didn't want to do is Ashley and I sit there and sort through everything. And then you guys were like, yeah, no. And then we wasted an afternoon sorting. So,
Yeah, I mean, I do too. I think we need to buy them so that we have them for the season.
yeah.
I'm fine with it. I just didn't know if we had to.
I don't, obviously the bigger they are, the more expensive they are, and the smaller they're cheaper. So
Right.
until I sort through, I don't know if it's like all 10-inch ones or a lot of small ones and that kind of thing. So maybe you could just, you could either do a dollar amount to it, or if you're okay with it, I can't really poll you all. I could just send you an email, and if you think it's reasonable,
I think we could do the approval through email, John. That's not an issue. Like,
yeah, I
send
can't.
it
You can't have that's like a walking quorum because you're not actually agendized. So I can't like send an email to the whole group and have you all respond. That's against open meetings rules. But I could send an email to Peggy, and Peggy could verify the dollar amount. I could do that. So it could be a motion to approve for staff to determine it with Peggy to okay the dollar amount.
Well, we have 849186 available in marketing, correct?
Yes, we have 8,000 in marketing.
And the most important thing is the ornaments. We can, if we had to, we
Yep.
could wait on the bins because the ornaments are gonna be up for a couple of months here.
Correct.
So,
And the bins, I've been pricing them.
Yeah.
We can get bins for $7, $8. Bins come in all sizes and prices. So, how about,
yeah, I mean, 5,000, 6,000, are we good with that?
that should plenty. I was thinking a couple
cap.
thousand. So yeah, if you want to say 4,000 or 5,000, that should
Okay.
be fine as a cap.
All right, so if we put a cap of
You have money for
5,000?
next year, so I literally was just gonna like sort through and be like, find the worst. So
Okay. I'm open to putting a cap of 5,000 on for the ornaments to make sure that we have enough for the tree if anyone wants to.
I'll second that.
Okay,
Up to 5.
okay.
I'm fine.
Motion, first, second, just,
Okay. I made a motion for 5,000 for approval. Paul seconded it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries for you. Okay?
for the tree lighting ceremony, I'm going to turn that over to Callie. She's just going to run through a little bit of the schedule and give you an update where we are. As you recall, the event is kind of a coordination between the bid, communications as a big part. We also have participation from the Downtown Business Association as well as the Bend Theater. So I'll turn it over to Callie.
Hi, everyone. I just want to update you as to where we're at with the planning process. All of us pretty much are new to planning because of new roles. So we met a couple months ago already to just kind of get the lay of the land. And for the most part, I think we're moving forward successfully. So the West Bend Christmas tree lighting ceremony is scheduled for November 6th already. That's just around the corner, with a 5:30 start time and then tree lighting at 6:30. The bid does, there's funds from the bid account that's put toward this event. And as such, we have traditionally had the bid president, Peggy, this year, give a few remarks before the lighting actually happens, along with Mayor Ongert. The Bend Theater had booked a talent act for this year's event. It's the Bullies from the holiday movie A Christmas Story. If you haven't seen, like me, if you haven't seen it lately, maybe go and refresh. But the actual actors who played the bullies in that movie are going to be at the event this year. And then after the event, A Christmas Story will be shown at the Bend. They did decide to do a ticketed event to offset the cost of that talent. In previous years, there's been a free movie after the event, but this year, that component just to, like I said, recoup some of their costs. And then we're currently working through just making sure we have musical acts booked, and the communication will start to more robustly go out here in the next couple weeks. And booking Santa and all of those good things. So that's the event. I'm new to the event, but if you have any questions about it or anything that you'd like to see with the event, the bid, like I said, is a co-host of this. So you guys are open to suggest anything that you would like to see.
Kelly, last year they had a thing with the school district and they had a young girl do it. Are they doing the same thing this year?
Yeah, we
That
are.
was such a great idea.
Yeah, Mayor Unger has a connection with the school district where I don't know the full process, but they choose a child that maybe, is deserving or
Yeah.
have some criteria behind the scenes. But yeah,
Awesome.
we're working to do that as well.
Perfect. Thank you.
Are there concessions for the event?
So Downtown Association will again serve hot chocolate and hot cider. And then the Bend has stuff for sale.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
Yep.
And then
Looking forward to it.
And just so you're all aware, the decorations will start to go up on the 30th and the 31st of October. And then Monday, I guess that would be the 3rd and 4th, we're reserving for if we have bad weather, if there's a malfunction with, an electrical thing. So they'll be testing on those 2 days to make sure everything is there. So,
Yeah, the electrical.
there may be some people commenting that Christmas trees going up before Halloween, but just because the first Thursday is so early in the month of November and with a weekend there, and we didn't want to just have Blingle have 2 days to put it up, and if for some reason we had bad weather or a storm, then have only half the stuff up or something, that would look bad too. So just so you understand that schedule. So.
And just to comment on the date, I understand that, yes, it is early, but also I believe the intention was media always came to it. And so it was an opportunity to put West Bend in the news media spotlight because just knowing the cycle of how news is shared, they are looking for that story right away at the change of the season to be able to say, Halloween's over and now we're into holiday time. So I'm under the impression that they were trying to capitalize on that moment.
Okay. Thanks for your work on it.
So our
Okay.
third item is for the bid facade grant committee. We actually have a committee meeting this Thursday at 8:15, so we're gonna be, oh, I'm sorry, I skipped over. We have the downtown, oh, we have hanging baskets.
We're on the landscaping baskets.
I was
Yeah.
going right through this agenda quickly, sorry. For the landscaping baskets for 2026, we're planning on doing essentially the same thing, although we've gotten some feedback for the hanging baskets. We had some cascading plants and some uprights. We got some comments that there is some desire to have more fuller hanging type plants that kind of droop down. So the Parks Department's going to put more petunias and other types of cascading plants in there so that they can have that. From that perspective, that's really the only big comment we've actually had. I think all the other comments have been really positive about the planters and all of those types of things. So if there's anything that you really loved as a plant, let us know. If there's anything that you were like, I just didn't like that plant, let us know. Otherwise, we're going to kind of probably proceed with similar. We might change up the colors or something like that a little bit from that perspective. And then for fall, there's just been a series of emails, and I guess I'm going to throw this out there. So the last 2 years we've just done mums. There was a suggestion that maybe next year we try mums as well as like kale and cabbage and some grasses. So it's just not planters of just all mums, that it's more of a curated fall type pattern with mums and some other fallish, cool color, cool plant type thing. So I guess I wanted to just get your thoughts on that. I know we're talking almost 12 months from now, but those orders actually do go in, fairly early. And if that's something you guys are like, well, let's try it, or that'd be great. And if you guys are like, no, let's just stick with the mums, we can do that too. But I guess I was curious on what your thoughts were, because then Rick over in forestry can start to kind of put some thoughts together what those might be. And if we can do it for the same price as the mums, then it wouldn't really have an impact, but it might be a little different.
Yeah,
Thoughts?
I'm open to it. Yeah, why
Okay.
not?
All right. Well,
Yeah,
then
we
I'll
should
talk
get the
to-
pricing.
Yep. So we'll figure that out. And it might be, maybe some of the round pots at intersections have grasses and kale, and other ones just have all mums. I think it might be some diversity or something like that. So, all right. Should we move on to reports?
Sure.
That would be the Downtown West Bend Association in the Bend. You guys going to flip a coin?
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I want to start off with how proud I am that our farmers market, got voted #1 in the state of Wisconsin again this year, 4th year in a row, and for the first time ever, top 10 in the nation. So everybody that has supported our farmers market with the city and all the vendors and everybody in our downtown shops, we're very grateful for that. This last weekend, we had our soup and sourdough event. It was the second time we held it downtown as a shopping event. We had about 175 people go through the downtown tasting and shopping. 14 shops hosted and 10 restaurants provided soups. So we were very thankful for that, and I hope that we had a good turnout that day for the shops that were open and participating. This coming Friday, we are doing our annual downtown trick or treat. It will be held on Main Street with a portion of the street closed in front of Old Settlers Park from 5 until 7 p.m. Last year, we had really good weather. We had about 1,000 people come by because that's how much candy we had, and we ran out. We are likely to have a little bit more fall-like weather this year, so we'll see what kind of a turnout we have. But it's a fun event for downtown. Our shops have told us they don't necessarily get a lot of business, but it's one of those goodwill things that we do as an organization, as business owners, to kind of give back to the community. Coming up later in autumn, we have our Autumn Wine Walk on the 22nd of November. That is traditionally referred to as Hunter's Widows Weekend. We have been averaging between 400 and 450 participants at our spring and autumn wine walks over the last few years, so we hope to have at least that many people. All the information for these events, by the way, are available on our website. We are very excited as well to participate with the city, the Bend, and other organizations like the BID with the tree lighting. So as was mentioned earlier, we'll be selling hot cocoa and hot cider. We'll be helping get the street ready. We'll be out there with the barricades early in the afternoon. And then I look forward to serving a lot of people for a very festive evening downtown. And then finally, kind of a heads up on the new event that we're doing, the Chris Kindle Markt. We are well on our way to get everything established for that, the sponsorships, the entertainment, the food. It will be held on 6th Avenue behind our building, the Centrum Building, from Elm Street south to Hickory. We will have a number of outdoor permanent wooden stalls that we're having constructed right now. And we will also have 2 tents, one that will be like a beverage tent with some entertainment, and then there will be another tent for additional vendors. So that's kind of a quick outline from now until the end of the year. If anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
No, but congratulations on the award. I think that's awesome. I think the farmer's market is phenomenal. It's packed every single Saturday. It's amazing how many people go and the amount of dogs that are down there. So many dogs. Those giant Great Danes that come every
Yeah, they're there
single
every Saturday.
They're just, they go and they greet everybody and the little pugs, and it's like I don't know, it's just a really fun morning for everyone that goes. So
I agree.
kudos to you.
All right, thank you all for the opportunity to share what's going on at the Downtown Association.
Thank you. Hi, Noelle.
Hi, I'm back. Hi, good to see all of you. Yes, I'm here to give some updates on the Bend Theater. So we have a series called Origins. So now that Music on Main is done for the summer, amazing outdoor summer concert series, the Bend, as I started there, I saw that they were starting a new series of free music on Thursdays, but indoors. So it's called Origins. They're singer-songwriters, so it's all original music from these individuals, super talented individuals, normally from 7 to 9 p.m. So again, free, come on in and just enjoy. The bar is open, concessions and everything too. So that's going to go until into November, and then pause a bit for the holiday season. And we're already talking about bringing it back in the spring. We have a comedy act this Friday, so after you're done trick-or-treating, come to the Bend. His name is Danny Jollis. So Friday evening, October 10th. And then this Saturday, there is a great band coming from the Minnesota area called Chase Innovation. It is the Paramount Prince Experience. So if you love Prince music, there are tickets still for sale. It should be a wonderful show this Saturday evening. We have Wicked that we're showing on Sunday for a fun movie. Forever Seeger, this is a big act. I heard that they sold out last year, but it's 2 nights on October 17th and 18th. So if you love Seeger music, that should be a great show. We also are doing a benefit concert for Camp Hometown Heroes on October 24th. That's a Thursday with Willie Porter. So Camp Hometown Heroes, a wonderful nonprofit that works with children who've unfortunately gone through a shared trauma of losing a loved one, a fallen soldier that has been a parent. So bringing them to camp, bring them together. So we're going to be working with them on that to raise money for them. The Boys in the Band Alabama Tribute is coming on October 25th. Hall & Oates Tribute, November 1st, called No Can Do. We talked about the tree lighting. We're all excited to collaborate with all of you in this room on that one. Looking forward to having the bullies from A Christmas Story come. We'll be chatting with them soon too to talk about how we're incorporating them as well during the tree lighting and after for a meet and greet after the movie. We have a great blues artist coming on November 7th, Joanne Shaw Taylor. Foo Foo Dolls are back on November 8th. We have a tribute to the Cars, the music of the Cars on the 14th. The Beatles Experience on November 15th, and the same weekend as the Autumn Wine Walk, the ABBA Salute Dancing Queen is back. So that's going to be a fun one to bring that all on the same weekend. And then we're jumping into the holidays. So I won't jump too far ahead, but I just want to give you an idea and a taste of what's to come at the Bend Theater in October, November timeframe. Any questions?
No, sounds very busy.
Yes. I know, it's like the summer season's super busy for downtown West Bend, and then the Bend picks up the reins going into the holiday season and into the new year too. So lots to continue to update you all about. And of course, you can always find out all of the information on the Bend on their website. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay, yep, go ahead. Thanks, Paul.
The next item was attachment. It's the Downtown Master Plan Quarterly Update. That's something that was requested by the donor group that has participated in a lot of projects in downtown. So that's something that we provide to you, as well as City Council and the Planning Commission, just as an update. You probably are aware of all of the items that are listed on there, from the plantings. There is a new piece of art. It's not actually in the bid. It's actually over just north of 33, but it is within the downtown area. And then there is the announcement for the new museum for the fire station once the fire department moves out, which will, help activate that part of downtown too, from that perspective. So those were the things that were highlighted on that report.
Okay.
John, is there any information on the building and bridge and downtown lighting project that's
So
underway?
we have a committee that's working on that downtown master plan. The last meeting we had, the committee asked for some additional information. I reached out to the consultants. The consultants kind of told me it wasn't quite in their scope. So I've come up with a plan to work on that. My next step, actually, what we got hung up on was public lighting. So downtown, if you're over by Water Street or Veterans, we have one type of light. If you're on Main Street, it's a different type of light. If you're on 5th and 6th Street, it's a different type of light. There's actually another type of light that I think's on Chestnut. There's only a couple of them. And so there's different lights that are over by the library. So the lights over on, for instance, Water and Veterans, those are We Energies lights that we rent. The ones by the library are lights that we rent, but then there's lights downtown that we own. And so the discussion evolved to wanting to dive deeper into that to actually select or get closer to a style. The committee, I think there were some people who I was hearing they kind of like contemporary, but I also was hearing in the room people are like, well, we're in a historic downtown. We really think the light should be more in keeping with a historic character. So essentially, I'm going to meet with Public Works and Parks and other staff, go through a bunch of stuff, have probably a meeting with We Energies, then narrow all that down, come back to the committee, and basically try to go through and so that the committee understands what is rented, what's owned, what the city can actually maintain. Because I think there may be some people who are like, well, this is a gorgeous light. Well, that might be the most expensive light. It might be something we can't maintain. We'd have to hire a contractor. Like, it could get super expensive. So I want to really get back into kind of more like the functions of all of that. And then we'll kind of have a discussion at that committee of the different types of lights and start to narrow that down. So that might be an extra meeting or two, and then we'll have the consultants. Once we have a decision, the consultants will come back in and wrap up the project. So we thought we'd be wrapping up in November, but I think it's worth diving deep in this. The Downtown Master Plan Design Guidelines basically say you should have some consistency with your lighting, and what the consultants were going to present was you should have some consistency with our lighting. I think everybody, both at the community level of those on the committee as well as staff, are like, we're just bumping a decision down the road. We really need to figure out what that would look like, because right now if you stand at the right spot, you can see 3 different lights, and it certainly lights up the street, but it's enough that can I think some people or some visitors might pick it up from that perspective. So and the other comment we talked about was, how do we efficiently, can we update, or, what do we do? Or is this something where it's going to be a 30-year project? That kind of thing. Because if you think about where we've gotten, that was the comment I made, is, it's taken us 80s all the way through to now to have the lights that have been installed, and it's kind of every project's been something different, and this is where we've gotten to. But can some of the things we keep? I actually think there's stuff we can keep. And then there's other things we can, maybe we make some decisions from that perspective. So I think there's an efficient solution, but we just have to sort that through. So, yep, it's still going through the process, yep. Anything else? So where I was trying to get to 10, 15 minutes ago was the Bid Facade Grant Committee. We do have a meeting coming up this Thursday. We're going to be discussing getting the next round out. Our intention was try to get that out a little earlier. Last year, I think we got that out like December 15th or something, with applications due right after the first of the year. We're going to try to get those out more in November and have an application deadline a little bit into January or something like that, so people have some opportunities. And we're going to also discuss maybe discussing what the direction of the facades that should go. We've had a number of projects in the last 2 years have been issued that they're large sums, very large projects. Some of the projects were, $200,000 projects, and the bid did provide a very large facade grant, but the projects didn't go anywhere. And so that money just kind of comes back. So we'll have discussions on Thursday of like, do we want to focus on smaller projects? Do we want to focus on some bigger projects? I do know of a number of people I've met with over the last 6 months of what their projects are. So I want to kind of, without calling them out, go through with the facade committee and say, do you think these are reasonable ones from that perspective? I think we also talked about maybe the facade committee could modify and have a small amount that could help for design. A lot of people know they want to do something, but they don't know who to call for an architect or a designer to do a drawing or help them work through their design. So they just sort of they kind of toss ideas out there, and I think the committee really wants a more refined concept, that kind of thing. And so maybe $1,000 or $500 or $800 or a percentage or something might help people, kind of help with those kind of concepts. So it's kind of might be some seed money that might then the next cycle end up in something that can be, funded from that perspective. So we'll talk a little bit more about that on Thursday, but that's the topic. At this point, we have a couple facade grants out there from what I see from permitting, as well as just driving by the businesses. At this point, it only looks like one is on target to be able to meet the deadline. We have a couple other ones out there that I haven't seen anything happen. Their time period comes up this, I think, February or March. I would have expected some construction equipment or something happening this fall. We had really great weather, but I haven't seen anything, so I'm not sure the status of those two projects. So, any questions? All right. And I think the schedule was we were going to meet in November, and then we were not going to meet in December. So we would meet. It would be the Tuesday, so it would be. It's the 4th, yeah. That would be right before the tree lighting ceremony, and then I think we would just do an update in January on the event from that perspective. I could always also send out an email, but I think you'll probably all be at the event, so you'll probably see how it goes. But from that perspective, and if there's anything you want to talk about from an end of the year perspective, for the November agenda that maybe staff won't think of, just shoot us an email and say, hey, I want to talk about this, or I'd like a summary of that or whatever. So.
Hey, John, do you feel like we'll have enough for a meeting next month, or should we punt November and meet in December?
I think what we did was we actually have kind of a schedule for the whole year of items that need to happen. And I think somewhere, I think it was May, I think it might have been before you were on the board, we kind of walked through the different months. And I think December was chosen as a month not to meet just because of people's schedules and busy holiday season, and shops, and a lot of the shopkeepers and stuff have lots of things to do and stuff like that. So I think that's why we decided on November. But so we'll have some end of the year wrap up type things from that perspective. And then your budget should be, I think your budget's scheduled for the 10th of November. That would go to City Council. So your budget will be adopted after your November meeting. But I'll send you off an email that says, hey, it's been approved. I don't perceive any issues from a council perspective.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Otherwise, does anybody else have any items that they want listed for next month's meeting?
I just had one, and I don't know necessarily how we would handle this as a bid, but I've gotten a couple people reach out to me, and members of the bid who say, we think the bid does a good job and so forth, but it doesn't, as a business, it doesn't really serve our needs. Like I can think of one in particular who's kind of on the periphery and doesn't necessarily get at the advantage of the downtown stuff and all that. And also just kind of considering some of the comments that are in sort of the additional comments that came in the recent survey of, all the bid businesses. Wondering if there's any way to, I guess, have if not a forum or a way to sort of address some of these, like how do we make the bid work for some of these people who aren't part of the regular business but are part of the bid, and handle some of those questions. I don't know if that's opening too much of a can of worms, but
The meetings are open
yeah,
to the
yeah.
public, and I think if anybody has anything they'd like to present, they're more than welcome to do it. And maybe that's how you should approach those.
So you're saying like
inquiries.
encourage them to present something that they'd like to address or bring up at board, and then bring.
They can easily send me an email, or they can call me and express their concerns. That's probably the best way to document it. And then that's certainly something that we can, I can certainly forward on to the bid. I think the unique thing about West Bend is that often bids, if you look at them in other parts of the state, the bid typically has an executive director that's actually like more or less half part-time or full-time, and they're also doing the events. So in other communities, you may have a bid that is a combination of what this board does as well as what the Downtown Association does from that perspective. So it's, all the events and the coordination, all that. But we have, for the last 30-some years or more, we've had these two separate sort of entities where the Downtown Association does more of the events and the outreach and marketing and all of those types of things, in the special events like the event with the soup and all those types of things, where the bid has been more focused on a component that is typically called, kind of the clean and green. So it's the maintenance, it's the aesthetic kind of perspective. So, and I do think we've started to acknowledge it. I think in the last Facade meeting, there was a desire to try to get some Facade money outside of Main Street. So there was one granted south of Walnut Street. We've had some conversations about, there's a lot of focus with the reconstruction of Main Street on holiday decorations and things like that, but we've had some discussions with the last budget of, what should the rest of downtown be, that kind of thing. So I think it's on the bid's conscious, but, I think people's participation either through communication or something would be helpful from that perspective. And then just, I think one of the things we can do is we could just revisit that survey often, try to make sure we're kind of meeting some of those needs.
Yeah.
I would also be open to, as a non-retail business owner, I would certainly be open to having a conversation with that person on having a business in the downtown for over 30 years, on the advantages of being in the bid, of what I personally feel it's done for me and my business. Because I think that there are other things to look at besides what else goes on down there. It doesn't have to just be about retail. There are other advantages for sure. And I'd be certainly open to that, because you do make a choice of where you have your business.
Sure.
And we all have that choice. So I would be happy to talk with that person as well, if they're open to that.
Yeah.
Okay?
I'll definitely connect.
Okay.
Great.
All right. If not, then I would make a motion to adjourn.
That's great.
Second. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Have a great day.